And we are live. Quite amazing. Hey there, and welcome. Thanks for submitting your questions so far. If you're listening to this, please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me well and see me well. And we're going to start right away. I mean, almost. We started technically. Just the question section and so on. Okay, so it shows that we are live on LinkedIn. Also, we are live on YouTube. Amazing. Cool. Let me change quickly the background. That's better. All right. We're going to wait just a few moments and then we're going to go into the sections of questions. So going to pull a few questions that were submitted previously for people who could not make the session itself. Also, we have the first viewer. Hey, and welcome. Feel free to add your question here in the comment section so I can read it out loud and answer. So far, we are good to go. It is my first time doing this type of live session and recording it as well. So bear with me. I would need feedback and input if things are fine on your end, if you can see me well and hear me well. I just knocked in my knee. It hurts, but we still keep on going, right? Okay, cool. So I believe that we can start. Let me put on a timer as well quickly. Okay, we're all set. A bit of lip balm, because that always helps. Also, feel free to let me know in the comment section where are you from. I am right now recording from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The weather outside is quite amazing. I just needed to shut the, how do you call it? Shut the blind. So it's going to be nice and dark and it's going to be contrast here. So hey and welcome. I see that we also have our second viewer. Amazing. All right, really cool. So I've just pulled up here the questions that also were submitted from people who cannot attend the meeting. Can you please confirm in the comment section if you can see me well and hear me well? Because if so, I'm just going to rip at it and start commenting. So I see there is feedback there in the mic. I assume everything is fine. I can see myself. I'm taking that as confirmation. So hey there and welcome. I am Noemi. I'm co-founder of Scale Wave. We are helping brands with advertising, and that's why today I set up this AMA session to answer all your Amazon PPC questions. This is something that it was for a long time in the back of my mind, and I'm so happy that finally we are here. Finally, you are here asking your question. So more than happy to answer. Just quick background on where I'm coming from. So we've been managing over the past few years over 5 million in ad spend. We've been managing both smaller and bigger brands. We are not so much on volume when it comes down to the number of clients. However, when it comes down to strategy, been leaving everything out. So also I spent a lot of my own money because we had our private label brand. This is how I started Amazon. So consumed out of budget a lot of money. So whatever you're asking today, it is based on my learnings, my whatever I found out, what works, what doesn't work. So it's really tested not only on someone else's budget, but mine as well. Okay, so a few questions are coming in, more than happy to answer them. And the very first question is, how do you usually optimize multi-keyword campaigns placement modifiers? In SKC campaigns, we have more control over placement, but in multi-keywords, we don't know which keywords get order until ROS. So this is a great question, and the way how I would go about this one is, first off, it's not as much about optimization for multi-keyword, but understanding what is the placement that performs best. Because once that you get that, it's going to be way easier. Because keep in mind right now, you have multiple keywords that might have multiple CPCs, right? So we are not optimizing for those keywords, we are optimizing for a multitude of keywords. Therefore, what is really important is to know the placement first place. And then if you're going to adjust the placements, based on that, you will see those multitude keywords, are they going to work as expected or not? And why I'm saying as expected or not is because what we're seeing on our end, sometimes it can be that you're increasing by 10%. Great. You're increasing by 20% placement modifier, maybe top of search. You're increasing it 30%. So based on that feedback, you would give it time to see how does it perform. Because keep in mind that you might have multiple keywords, but when it comes down to the keyword itself, the keyword is related to the percentage. So for example, for one keyword, you are going to pay, for example, $1. For the second keyword, you're paying $2. For the third one, you're paying $3. So yes, while the multiplier is going to be there, the idea is that for you, you're going to see that for specific keywords, it works or it doesn't. And there's one more technique that we are right now looking into in bulk files. It's going to be, if you're going to download your bulk files, and especially for the past 30 days, there you can see clearly targets, keywords, and also you have placement modifiers. So what we are right now looking into, to be even more precise with, is optimizing from the bulk files for those placements. And to achieve that, you would have to have the whole campaign structure, and then you would also need to have the placement modifier and the keywords. And then if you're going to open that up in one window, and then next to it have a mirror window of whatever you see in Campaign Manager, and let's say you're pulling the bulk files. Today is, what day is today? Today is Tuesday. Let's say today is Wednesday, and you would pull the bulk files for the past whole week. So it's not going to be Monday and Tuesday included, right? Then you would have a way more clear understanding on what does the campaign manager shows and what does the bulk file show. And that would be an easier way for you to see, okay, for each keyword, how much did I increase and what is the actual CPC? Because keep in mind, we always optimize based on CPC. We're not optimizing based on placement. This was a more tactical approach. Let me know if that makes sense. And if you have questions, just let me know, okay? Now, the second question is, data is not always on keyword level. It is a sum of all keywords. Correct. Open up the bulk files, and then you will see clearly that each keyword itself, it has its own bid. So that's why I was saying to open up the bulk files to take a look and have those three things enabled: product, keyword, and then also placement modifiers. Our ACOS has increased to 50% from 25 last week. How can I improve it? Well, we would be zooming out and understand what is increasing our ACOS. It can be multiple things. We just touched base a little earlier about placement modifiers. So one of the things that can happen is that maybe the placement changed. So maybe you under-optimized or over-optimized. So maybe you're showing up right now in a different placement. That would be one of the things. But if we're zooming out even more, we want to understand which are all the action steps that happened during that week on that account. Meaning, what did you do? Did you edit any negative? Did you optimize their bids? Did you change any placements? So did you edit any placement modifiers on specific placements? Did you started any new campaigns? So all those are going to be really important for you to know. Then the next thing is going to be, all right, so this is internally, what you did internally. Then the second thing, look up the keywords that brought most of your sales and look up how they are performing. Are there only specific keywords that are not performing well? Are there only specific campaigns that are not performing well? Or just overall, generally everything increased? That is going to be the second thing. The third thing, did anything external happen, such as any holidays, any prime deals, anything like external that could have affected that ACOS? That is the third thing that we would be looking into. Fourth thing we are going to look into, all right, so now that we know the top search terms, top keywords that brought most sales in, go in to incognito, take the search term, and then look up who is showing up now. Do you have any competitors that are maybe bidding higher for that particular keyword, aka they want to win that placement that you previously had? So those are things that I would be doing without knowing any context. I would have a clear checklist and say, okay, internally, what happened, right? Going into the history log itself, look what we did, like what we did internally. Is it something on our end that we missed? Because then it's an easy fix. I find it right away. Then second, anything external that happened, right? And then second A, let's put anything external that is something that we cannot control, right? So holidays or so on. Or then 2B, it would be anything external that is keyword related. So is my competition now bidding higher? The next question is, if we have a higher budget, how would you select the keywords for ranking? This is a really good question. And what I would do in this case is I would look into what do I want to do? Do I want to produce more sales for something that I'm already converting on? Or do I want to produce more sales for something that I want to gain additional market share for, right? So the way how I would look into it is, okay, what is the final goal? Is it that I'm going to create additional sales, profitable or as profitable as possible? Or is it that I'm going to create profitable sales in the long run, but right now I'm just going to bid more aggressively? So that is the way how I'm seeing we've received additional budget, what to rank for. Now, the second thing, let's go back to what ranking actually means. Ranking means nothing else than conversion for a specific keyword / search term in your search term reports. So the moment that you allocated, let's say $100 to one keyword, that it did convert it and it brought you sales, that is highly likelier that it's going to help you rank versus you allocated that money to something that did not convert it. So it's going to be important for you to know, okay, did I actually rank or did I just spend money on something that now I have the data that it doesn't work for me? So those are the things into. And then the third thing, what I would be looking into, I actually love to do both of these in the same time, but with limited budget. So I would allocate, let's say, 80% on the things that I know already it works well, and I would duplicate the success. And then the 20% I would allocate for new campaigns where I want to get market share. Unless the goal it is that we want to grow aggressively, then we would switch around the concept. But now that you understand the 80-20%, let's say the 80%, where would I spend the money? On things that work. So I would pull the search term reports and see which are the keywords that are my top performing keywords. How could I duplicate the same success? For example, let's say that one keyword is bringing me sales that is a broad match. Can I add this as a broad modifier to bring more sales? Can I add this as an exact match? Can I add this in a phrase match? Can I bring the same keyword and right now maybe it's in sponsor product? Can I create a new company sponsor brand and push more for that keyword? Therefore, technically I'm going to rank more for it, right? So those would be the steps that I would be looking into rather than right away just gain more sales and then become more profitable. Hi Nino, how's it going? So hello, I'm totally new in Amazon FBA. Welcome, you're in the best spot ever. Just launched my first private label product, still do not have reviews. What would you recommend? Should I launch automatic PPC campaign or wait for Vine program until reviews will appear? Love the question, and also on some of the questions that were submitted previously, this is one of the questions, so I actually am super stoked that you're here and I'm going to answer this quickly. The way how we're approaching things, think back of right now you're too close maybe at your business and too close at your product and you're trying to figure out what should I do right now. Let's zoom out for clarity. You are a business. You just launched your product on Amazon, but you are still a business. What a business needs is sales. So no matter if you have reviews previously, no matter if no one knows you, you have to knock on doors and sell your product, right? And this is what we would do with launching campaigns to freshly, like zero review products. We want to bring eyeballs. Because at this point, keep in mind that if you would be waiting for 1, 2, 3, 5 reviews, you're also assuming that those reviews are going to be positive. And while you're assuming that, you're also not giving yourself chance to bring additional eyeballs to the listening that will show you, hey, this converts or it is like something is off about the product. So what we're doing usually at ScaleWave is 0 reviews. It's enough for us to launch the product, because what can happen is that a product that has 0 reviews, it's considered as if you are just pure. You don't have anything negative, you don't have anything positive. You are pure as you are. And in someone's eyes, your listing is more pure than someone else who has 3-star reviews, 2-star reviews, 1-star review. You are kind of equal to 4-star or 5-star reviews even, just because there's no star rating there. So I would highly advise you in this scenario, think of it again. This is a business that is just knocking on doors on potential highly targeted customers to check out their product. So it's going to come down to how good your product is, right? So if your product is good, if your images are highly optimized, meaning all the benefits of your images are showcasing in the main image, the rest of the images, A+ content, brand story, so if you have all that there, your pricing is good as well. I would just like, this is what we're doing at ScaleWave, right? So we are advertising those products until we get feedback, and the feedback is sales, right? So definitely I should 100% go for start advertising. Now, should you start auto campaigns or wait for... I would recommend you to calculate first off your budget. And the way how you would do that is be as real as possible with you, right? Again, think of this as not as your product, but as this is your business, how much marketing budget you have. Less people know you, more marketing budget you should have, because you want to open up more ways for you to find that ideal customer that is eventually going to give you a positive or negative feedback. So in this case, be super realist with yourself. Here at ScaleWave, what we love to do is add at least or calculate at least a 30% budget from whatever the production cost was for our product, with everything like manufacturing, shipping, and so on and so forth. So we like to have at least a 30% chunk that goes into advertising marketing efforts. And since you launched on Amazon, here it would be via Amazon PPC ads. Now, let's say that you have invested $10,000 into everything and it's $3,000 your monthly PPC budget. Then you would see, okay, if you have $3,000 monthly budget, that means every day I can spend around $100 to advertise my product. And I am talking right now, $3,000 might seem as a big budget. It is not. It's really dependent also on how competitive your niche is. So if you have the $100, you would say, okay, so out of the $100, my first 5 top keywords, 10 top keywords, and by top keywords, I mean what is the most relevant to my product that is exactly describing my product whenever someone would be looking on Amazon to find my product. Those are the ones that you're going to calculate. All right, so let's say with the 10% conversion, if my CPC is $1, $2, $5, how much would I need to allocate to this one campaign? And once that you got that, let's say for the top 5 keywords, you might need to allocate $50, $60, $70, unless you get meaningful data. And by meaningful data, I mean, do you have at least 10 clicks to afford a 10% conversion rate? Or even since you're a new product, maybe more people are going to click on the listing and then decide if they're going to purchase or not, even up to 5% conversion rate, right? Because based on that, now you will know exactly, all right, should it be automatic campaigns only? Campaigns, broad match campaigns, net campaigns. So I think the best question for you to ask right now, not as much as should you run campaigns? Yes, 100%. And what type of campaigns to run, but how much is your budget? Because based on that, you're going to calculate, okay, so let's say I have $1,000 budget, then probably you're not going to create so many campaigns. You are going to afford around roughly like $30, $33 per day. For that, you might be creating the one auto campaign. It's going to bring you meaningful data for the product. I certainly hope that this gave you more insight on the way how I would treat launches. Keep in mind that this is your launch. I would put in as much marketing effort as possible, as much ad budget as possible, because you built up to this point, right? So next question is, what is the worst performing targeting in sponsored display you think? Ooh, love this question whenever I'm asked the edge cases. I think the VCPM model is pretty skewed when it comes down to this. I would always go for conversion and CPC just to ensure that I have more control on that. VCPM models are tricky because it might show up that you perform better than you actually do. So if you would be running sponsored display ads, I would always go for the conversion and CPC model. Thank you so much. Please arrange this kind of sessions every week. I love the way you answer the questions. Thanks again. You're most welcome. And yes, this is the plan for the each upcoming weeks on every Tuesday to have these sessions. So thank you so much for the feedback. It means a lot. Nemo, thanks a lot. You're most welcome. If you have any more questions, Nemo, I am like for the next 30 minutes. It's still here, so shoot all the questions that you have. You should have a lot of questions. When I started in Amazon, I had most questions, and I had not all the time the most intelligent questions because I did not know what to ask or how to ask for it. So here you have honestly free advice based on lots of spending in advertising. All right, until the next questions are coming in, let's go through some more questions here that were submitted. What are the key steps I should take to optimize my campaign after it has been running for about 2 weeks? Great question. So what I would do in this case, I want to get meaningful data, as much meaningful data as possible. By meaningful data, I mean, do I have at least 10 clicks for a keyword? Do I have feedback on, hey, this works? It's 100% ACOS, but at least it generated the one sale. So for me, it's going to be really important to know that I have data. So it's not so much about how much it ran, but how much budget did you allocate to it? And giving you a clear example, on some accounts where we are helping brands to scale very quickly, we would never start with low bids. And by low bids, I mean we would always bid as high as possible. So we're going to quickly get the information that we need to see what is the actual CPC that we will have to target in order to showcase maybe on top of search. So that data can really be you can get data that you can really get that data in less than 24 to 48 hours. So you don't necessarily need to run your ads for 2 weeks. Now in this scenario, I am assuming that the campaign has been running for 2 weeks. Do you have any data? Are there any impressions? Do you have any clicks? Are people buying the product? So those would be the next steps. And then if so, what is the conversion? Because based on that, you will know, can I duplicate the same success that I had? Do I have to lower bids? Do I have to increase bids? Do I have to play around with placement modifiers? Should I bring this keyword into another search type into another match type? So those would be the things that I would be looking into rather than 2 weeks data. Next question. Why do broad match campaigns sometimes perform better than exact match and vice versa? Yeah, this is a question that, honestly, right now I'm seeing more and more discovery campaigns. By discovery, I mean broad match, phrase match, auto campaigns, category targetings, product targeting expanded, outperform exact matches. And the reason for that is, honestly, I have no clue, probably just because it's going to attract way more searches than exact searches. So let's think of this logically. Let's say that I have here my Yowie Christmas mug in front of me. So let's say that this Black Christmas mug, has a search volume of, let's say, 1,000 search volume per month. Now, Black Christmas mug, whenever someone is looking it up on exact match, that's the only thing that they would be looking for. But if it's broad, for example, they would be looking for this mug in many different ways. Maybe it's going to be a 500 milliliter Black Christmas mug, or funny Black Christmas mug, or Christmas mug with cat, or something like that, and your product will show up, right? So there's a cumulative or way more many searches when it comes down to broad matches. So technically, if we're thinking logically, you are increasing your chance to showcase on way more many searches than you would if you're going to match only that exact same term rather than broad match. So that's what we are seeing on our end when it comes down to why broad match would perform better than exact match. Exact match also can perform really, really well. It's just a limited search volume. My daily budget on PPC is 30%. All right, so this is one more question here, or more information for the previous question. My daily budget on PPC is $30. Would you recommend to start with broad match campaign and see which keyword is working and increase bid? You know what I would recommend? Broad match could work, but really important. First off, calculate how much does it cost you the one keyword that is mostly highest relevant to your product, that is not just the one word, but at least has 2 to 3 words inside. Once that you see that and know that, you would see how much the $30 is going to be enough for, right? So imagine it this way. If it is the one keyword that you might have it in broad search, it's going to trigger way many more terms. So even if it would cost you $2, not $3, right? In exact match, maybe it's $3 because usually exact match it costs higher. What you would end up with is you generated now data for yourself that you understand, okay, so it would cost me $2 broad match, but also the likelihood that is going to convert is going to be maybe lower than my exact match, right? Because in exact match, people who are looking for your product, they are going to find exactly your product. So that is the strategy that I would do rather than checking out which match type. First off, check out what is the CPC for your most relevant top 5 keywords, then see what is the CPC for the one keyword that is most relevant and that could afford that $30 budget, right? But honestly, what I would do here, if I were you, now I don't know exactly like what is going on, what is your CPC and so on. What I would still do, I would create the two campaigns. I would also create an automatic targeting campaigns that has very, very low bids, like 20 cents bid, and just accumulate some more data. Because what you want to know is what does Amazon sees whenever I'm showcasing my product. Amazon is really good at understanding what your product is, or placing your product exactly to whatever someone would look for. So I would have at least like one campaign that is automatic match campaign, allocated like budgeted $10, and maybe the rest of $20 see the keywords, how it's going to perform. Let me know if that helps. And also let me know if you have follow-ups. Asif, hi. So welcome. Hey Noemi, glad to see you. Thank you so much for the session. My question is, during the first 2 weeks of a new product launch, is it more effective to rely on automatic campaigns for keyword discovery, or should we focus on manual keyword research tools to build my initial campaigns? I think this goes nicely hand in hand with my answer to Nino, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I would want to have also the auto campaigns done, especially now, as if what I'm seeing so far is auto campaigns, they are working way differently than 5 years ago when we started like selling first on Amazon. Back then, auto campaigns did not had this power, right? Right now in 2025, I'm seeing that Amazon, they just love discovery campaigns. So what I would do in this scenario, I would still have the one auto campaign. I would even have all the match types in and then see whichever performs better and then pause the other ones. Usually what we like to do is really depends on the budget, right? But even if we would create auto campaigns, we love to have all the 4 targeting times into its own separate campaign. So if that is an option, I would go for it. But it depends on the budget. So how much total budget do you have? Because based on that, you can see, all right, I'm going to create this many exact match campaigns. I'm going to create this many automatic campaigns. And when it comes down to keyword discovery, especially during launch phase, what I'm seeing is I'm very curious to see what does Amazon sees in my product. Where do they classify? Because what we are seeing right now when it comes down to automatic targeting, especially in product launch, it's a really good pulse of, is Amazon seeing my product correctly? Because if, let's again go back to my example, if this is a black Christmas mug and in auto campaigns, it would come up for, I don't know, black headphones, that is something, it's totally off, right? Indexing, ranking for specific keywords is like, that is not my product. So you would want to have that auto campaign also as a backup to see, hey, am I coming up for relevant keywords? Let me know if that answered the question and if you have any other new questions. All right, moving on. What could be causing my campaigns to receive 0 impressions even after I've adjusted bids up and down multiple times. So I'm repeating the question. What could be causing my campaigns to receive 0 impressions even after I've adjusted the bids up and down multiple times? Okay, so let's zoom out for clarity. When we receive 0 impressions, usually it can be meaning just because you increased and decreased your bids is not a guarantee that the bid is something that would put your product in front of people, right? So the first thing is going to be maybe is simply that the bid is too low. The second thing that could be is maybe the search volume for that particular keyword is so low that literally no one is looking for it. So if your CPC, let's exaggerate just a bit, or maybe in your category, if it's applicable, let's like talk real talk. If it's $10 a CPC or $20 a CPC, like one click, then you would have at least proof that CPC is high. But if you don't have like that proof either, that usually means is the search volume is very, very low. Now, something else that could happen also is indexing. So you would look into, am I indexing for that particular keyword that I'm running ads for? So if the bids are high, it's a $10 bid and your average bid is $2. So then you show up somewhere, ideally on top of search. And the way how you would do this, you would open up in incognito page and see there if your product is showing up, right? If it's showing up on the first page, top of search, it means that the $10 bid is going to guarantee you the top of search placement. You might not be paying the $10, but that is the bid that it's bringing you there, right? Second thing, you are going to look into the search volume. So if there's specific search volume for that particular keyword, that means that it might be an indexing issue. So that's something that we're seeing on our end. Next question is, how can I identify whether a specific sale came from PPC, an influencer, or another source? So the easiest for you to define if it came from PPC or another source is simply going to be look into your PPC sales. Are your PPC sales existent? If yes, it means that it's highly likelihood that it could be a PPC sales. Now look into, are you not running ads at all? Then it's clear that it's an outside traffic. So I'm just exaggerating right now so you can understand the way how I'm thinking of things, to simplify as much as possible without going into too much technical stuff. Then if it's a PPC sales, now you know that it's from PPC, right? Second thing what you would look into is it organic or PPC, right? Because then you have at least an understanding of it comes from PPC or it's from an external source. So once that you have that figured out, right? So let's say it's external, but it can also very well mean that your PPC sales transitioned into organic sales, because now that you're bringing more eyeballs to the listing, you are going to show up higher and higher on the first page, right? So that could also generate organic sales. So you don't want to, just because it's not PPC related, you don't want to go into the extreme, okay, it's for sure not Amazon related and not brought by Amazon. So we would look into, okay, is it PPC? Is it organic? And the easiest way for you to see if it's organic or not, usually what we're seeing on our end is pull your search term reports and see which are the terms that you're converting the highest for. It might be also search terms that you are not even targeting. However, your customers are typing in the search bar whenever they're finding and buying your product. So that way, at least you can understand, hey, this is a search term that is highly relevant for your product. Let me open up in incognito again a page and see if I am, or where am I currently ranking on that particular search term, right? And what you can also find out very easily is, organically, are you ranking high for the search term? Because then what could happen is that, yes, PPC generated sales for the specific search terms, but now that search term brought you higher and higher on the first page organically. So that would be the first step. Now, when it comes down to influencer or another source, you can go ahead and look up Amazon attribution, and Amazon attribution, it should be showing you exactly if it's an external source. Either it's an influencer, either it is Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever ads would be running that is not PPC ads. So those are also some of the things that I would be looking into. There is, without clear data, to be frank with you, there's no way for you to find out this. My question is to you, why do you want to find out this information? Is it really significant in sales? Was it a huge sale that it brought you that sales? It could also be that maybe on the website you sell, if you're selling on your website, you just made a lot of sales. So that could be also one thing. The reason why I'm saying this is because most of the time what I'm seeing is very, very many brands, they're just getting their time and focus and attention scrambled by all these things. Or, oh, is this external, or is it that, like, how am I going to track it? If you have proof that something, it works really well, that is not PPC, and it's bringing, let's say, 20, 30, 40% additional revenue, that is when I would look into, okay, so what is it? Because if it's not bringing that much revenue, if it's not that significant, what you might very easily end up with is this new shiny object that you're chasing that actually maybe it's not it, right? So what we know so far is, by running ads for brands, is that ads is something that 100% is going to generate sales for you if your listing is optimized, if your price is competitive, if you have good reviews, or even like in case, even if you have 0 reviews, it's not positive, neither negative, so it's going to help. PPC is going to help itself. Now, whatever it's external, you would look into what is the percentage that this is contributing. Because if it's a higher percentage, then you would be thinking, okay, let me double down on that. Let me find out exactly what is going on there. That would be my thought process. Let me know if that helped, okay? How can I maintain profitability in a niche where the average CPC is around $9 to $10, but the product price is only about $20? Tough situation. It's very likely that it's a supplement or like even consumable where like lifetime value makes sense. That's exactly what I would be looking into. Is there a way for you to increase the value of your product? And here what I mean, are you selling a 1-pack? Can you sell a 2-packs, for example, and then charge maybe $25-$30 for it? Or like $35, like $30-$35 for it. So it's not like $40 a 2-pack, but it's 35 at least. So then it's going to be a perceived value that, hey, they are making a deal whenever they're buying your product, or even 3-packs. So is that an option for you to increase the value of your product by adding multiple packs or multiple different items into it? So that would be the first thing that I would be looking into. And then you can say, all right, now it's $9, $10 the CPC. At least I gave myself just a bit more advantage. But I would also look into, because you're saying the average CPC is around $9 to $10, I would look into, is there any other way for me to showcase my product on different placements that is not necessarily top of search? And then the second question I would ask, is keyword targeting my go-to right now, or can I go also for product targeting? Do I have an advantage over other competitors? Because it might be that your product is $20, but someone else's is $40. So then, even if you're advertising, it's highly likelihood that someone would buy your listing or your product rather than someone else's product. So those are the things that I would be looking into. First off, is there a way for me to increase the order value? And then the second thing I would be looking into, is there a way for me to find a strategy that puts me into a competitive advantage compared to my competitors? My product, the CTR is currently very low, around 10%. No, 0.10%. What steps can I take to improve it? So first off, again, we're looking at advertising. Is this because of advertising? So are you advertising for the correct audience? If not, that would be a good way for you to improve your CTR. Second thing, you would be looking into which placement is the best for me. So where do I convert most? And then try to aim for that placement, even if it is top of search that converts best, and even if it's going to be more expensive, CPC wise, conversion rate for top of search is going to be way more higher, right? So maybe what you can do, you can redirect traffic from your product pages and rest of search to top of placement, and then that could be also a way for you to improve that. Now let's see what other ways, and I'm thinking right now strict advertising related, and then we can go into listing optimization and so on. But these are the things that I would be looking into advertising wise. Is my targeting off? The moment that I improve my targeting, that is going to improve. Are my bids off? I'm going to ensure that I'm going to showcase my ads in the placement that it's converting best. Third is going to be from all the match types that I'm currently running for the account. Is that something that is bringing overall conversion down? Because I would be looking then into the group of automatic. How do automated campaigns or automatic match types work for me? What is the ACOS overall on a campaign level? On a overall account level for that match type. Then exact match, then substitutes, then loose match, complements, so on. So I would be looking into, okay, now where do I have something that is bleeding money that if I could easily fix, it could give me that competitive advantage of increasing the conversion rate, right? And then the click-through rate, sorry, because you're asking about click-through rate. Then the next thing I would be looking, all right, if you are already optimized from the advertising point of view, go and look into the listings point of view. You might be bringing the correct traffic, the most cheapest traffic, but then the listing is like, literally just audited one of a brand last week, I believe, and they have one main image, and they were saying that ACOS is high, and like, yeah, highly likely because it's going to be high for the one image, and when your competitors have 5 images and A+ content and all those things, So you would be looking, okay, realistically, how does my listing looks like? Is my listing describing in the best way possible whatever benefits my product has, whatever it does, whatever it doesn't do, who is my target audience? Is it speaking to them, or it's not optimized properly? So those would be the steps. And of course, pricing, you would look into pricing, you would look into reviews. Now, reviews is one of those things that it's just highly dependent on how many sales you make, because you cannot generate like hundreds of reviews overnight, because then Amazon is going to take down your listing, So price is going to be the next thing I would be looking into. Is there a way for myself to put myself into a place where I can convert quicker, right? So that's going to be the next thing. Are there any coupons that I could add? The strike through. Do I have the strike through? And by strike through, I mean your selling price, and then you would have the strike through price, which is going to showcase as if the product is on deal, when not necessarily it has to be, right? So those are the things that I would be looking into. All right, 10 more minutes to go. Feel free to drop your questions here. If no new questions, I'm just going to answer the previously submitted questions. Okay. How can I conduct a keyword gap analysis to find the keywords my competitors are ranking for but I'm not? This is the next question that I'm answering. So you can do that by using a tool that we're also using internally from Helium 10. So you can use Cerebro, and what you can do, you can literally look up your ASIN and then add also the top 10 competitors and see where do they rank on specific keywords. And that would be a really good way for you to see, okay, which are the keywords that they are ranking on that you might not. Now, very important, don't lose sight of their ranking on them. I should also. There are several different factors why they might be ranking on them. Maybe they added that into their SEO, and that's why organically it shows that they're more like the ranking is more boosted. Maybe they generally people are looking for those keywords and they're finding their product. So I would look into what are the most relevant keywords that they are ranking on that I am not, but 100% describing the product. Those are things that I would be prioritizing first. And then second, are there any outliers when it comes down to that's a relevant keyword that I have not thought of, but however they did and they're ranking for it. So that could be the next step that I would prioritize. When my product's main keywords have low search volume, should I start targeting broader terms such as Halloween gift? Oof, I have a love-hate relationship with gift keywords. To be frank with you, what I would do in this scenario, I would look into starting some discovery campaigns and see what other keywords you might be showing up for, rather than just assume that you have to go exact match and whatever you're selling has low search volume. I would honestly not target gift keywords because actually our internal process, to give you some feedback on like how we are doing things here, everything that is gift free, everything that is Amazon, everything that is there's a certain list of keywords that we're always adding to negative exact, so and even negative phrase sometimes, because negative phrase sometimes because we don't want to show up for those specific keywords. So what I would be doing is this case I would rather start some discovery campaigns rather than gift items, unless your product is really a Halloween gift. But then you should be expecting the search volume to drop once that it's not anymore Halloween. What I would do in this case to be even more thoughtful, I would look into what other routes those search terms have, and then instead what I would be doing besides auto campaigns, I would doing some brand modify. This is something that actually worked really, really well for a brand that we managed a while back, and they were selling merch by Amazon, and we used just the root keyword of whatever the product it was, and the way how we did it. So, for example, if your product is mug, we would have added the plus mug, and then it's going to be the plus sign and then mug, and the plus sign it's exactly next to the word, so there's no space between these two. And then that actually generated a lot of relevant keywords for us. Now, keep in mind that if you know what your product is, you should also be knowing what your product is not. What I would do in this case, actually, I would also look up with Cerebro, I think Cerebro, I'm not sure. But with Helium 10, it has a tool where you can see all the relevant keywords and also the routes that people are looking up a product with. And then there, let's say if this is for dog, it's a cat design, but people are looking for dog. And that is a highly searched volume keyword. You would be adding that as negative. So that way also you can go into more ninja tactics when it comes down to this. Hope that helped. Should I focus on a large number of keywords in my SEO and PPC campaigns, or would it be more effective to target a smaller, more refined list if smaller was the ideal number to aim for to improve daily sales from 1 to around 8 to 15 units? Love the exactly, that you need 8 to 15 units. I appreciate this question so much. Right, so you're asking about multiple things. Let's go layer by layer. So should I focus on a larger number of keywords in my SEO and PPC campaigns, or would it be more effective to target a smaller, more refined list? Option 2, smaller, more refined list. Think of it this way: you have limited capacity. So when it comes down to whatever effort you're going to put into advancing, you have to ensure that you are covered for that limited capacity. Now, here, the same way when it comes down to keywords, if you're going to add all the 1,000 keywords in your campaigns and your SEO and so on, what you're going to end up with is like you cannot track that, right? So I would highly advise in this scenario, take 5 to 10 keywords that must be highly relevant for your product and then add them wherever is most relevant. Title is the first thing. So if you have even the one keyword and adding it into the title, and then the next day you're going to look into, all right, am I ranking organically higher for this particular keyword? That is a good proof for you that it works. Whatever you're doing, it works, right? So that way you can say also, all right, so I added this into my SEO, so I added it into my title. Now, let me see on the PPC end, if I'm going to add that, like target that particular keyword in PPC. Now that I also have it in my title, am I going to become more relevant? Highly likely that you are, because you already are indexing for that particular keyword, especially when someone would look up your product with that specific keyword. You're going to be the first ones that showing up, dependent on how many other competitors have that specific keyword. So I would go into, all right, what is the bandwidth? What is the limit? Is it 1 keyword? Is it 5 keywords? Is it 10 keywords? I will go with the 1 keyword, see the outcome there, and then add more at up to 5, and then see, can you sustain that? And if you can sustain, great. We are going to reply now the second question. What is the ideal number to aim for to improve daily sales from 1 to around 8, 15 units? First off, you will have to find what success looks like to duplicate it. So in this scenario, you're right now assuming that the one thing is going to work. Unfortunately, what we're seeing on our end, and Amazon is just like proving us day by day that this is not the case. So you will always need to see, all right, am I able, if I'm going to target this particular keyword in my title and also in my PPC campaigns, first off, am I converting for that keyword? Because if yes, great, at least you generated the 1 sales or 2 sales. Now, in this case, if we said you have the 1 sale, right? Then you would be looking into, all right, so now I can generate those 2 sales. Next is going to be, again, with advertising. Can I have the specific keyword now in a different match type to bring in even more sales? We were talking just a few minutes about exact match versus broad match. So if right now you're targeting an exact match, which you should if you are testing this keyword and you want to rank for it, then what you can do, all right, this keyword now works for me. Let's add it into a different match type, this more discovery type of campaign, not ranking campaign, such as exact match campaigns. Again, it worked. You're bringing in now 3 sales. Now you know, or 5 sales. Now you know that that keyword works for you. How can I maximize it even more, right? Because that way what you're going to end up with, and most people, I believe that they are not getting this, is the way how keywords work is each word itself, it has its own root, right? And then if you have one root, for example, here, this is going to be a cat mug. Everything that is with cat and mug and something related to this item, or starts with cat mug or has cat mug in it, it's going to be more highly relevant for Amazon. So then you're going to rank not only on the cat mug keyword, but you're going to rank on any keyword that is highly relevant to that keyword. So technically what you're doing is, with implementing only just the one keyword, you're going to bring up more and more and more and more and more keyword. So certainly hope that made sense. But when it comes down to how to duplicate success, I would first define what success looks like and then test it until you have proof that it works and you can duplicate that. All right, 59 minutes in. So I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much for the questions. These are amazing questions. I'm super happy that you attended. And yeah, let me also sign on my end that the questions that have been answered. Okay, cool. So thank you so much for attending. This was so much fun. Thank you for all the questions that you submitted. Certainly hope to see you next week as well. Same day, same time. And have a rest of your week. That's amazing. Keep up the amazing work. Have trust in yourself. And keep up the good work. Till next time. Take care. Bye.